Alright guys, I'm back here with another one. I think you guys are really going to like this one. This is my buddy's LYSTAR deck. So the reason it's called LYSTAR is because Lysta is the star of the deck. It's all about Lysta. So moving in here, you have Lysta in the center. She reads, when Lysta gains initiative, it gains outperform power 10 and air 10. So basically she can do plus 20 in attack on a good day, or at least plus 10. She's got 65 energy, and she's the whole point of the deck. Moving on, we have Agitos here on the left side. At the beginning of your turn, Underworld creatures you control gain Intimidate Courage 20 and Intimidate Power 20. And his ability reads, for 2 music counters, target creature gains if an adjacent opposing creature can move into this creature's space. It must do so. So this is how you control the movement and make sure that they're always fighting your Lysta. On the other side, we have another Agitos here in the front. Same thing, same ability, and this is so that you can do it twice. So you're trying to make sure that they're always fighting Lysta, and Lysta is always fighting. In the middle, we have Double Omar, Underworld's favorite support character. Expend fire, deal 10 damage to target creature, and he comes with a music counter. 50 energy, really solid fire element. In the back, we've got a goodie here. We got Fel4, the OG Underworld version. At the beginning of your action step, you may move target creature to an open space on the battle board adjacent to that creature. So basically, you can move a creature every turn. Or not every turn, but on your turn. Really good. It's really good for controlling the board. You need to be able to manipulate the board like that because of Lysta, because she's your only fighter in this deck. And you want her to be fighting all the time, so you need to be keeping your opponent's creatures at bay, or moving your own stuff around just to avoid the fights that you don't want. So really good for controlling the board here. We're going to start with Lysta's battle gear because it's part of the whole gimmick here. So not only does Lysta need to fight, she needs to win initiative to get her ability. So Lysta has Stormbird statues. Equipped creature has Swift 1. If equipped creature has air, it has surprise. So Lysta has air, so this gives her surprise, so she always wins initiative, even on your opponent's turn. This way she gets her ability, which is the whole gimmick. That's the whole point of this deck. She needs to win initiative. It's not enough just for her to fight. So Stormbird statues gives her surprise, also gives her the nice Swift 1, so she gets an extra movement on the board. And this ensures that her ability always goes off, so it's a win-win. It's pretty sweet. It wouldn't be a deck or a competitive deck if you weren't playing at least one Bimower. So your Agitos here has Bimower. You pretty much know what this does. You pop it, you give a creature range and Swift 1. So you could add this to Lysta and she could fly all the way to the back, no problem. So, everybody knows the combo. You play Bimower first turn, you fly in the back, you kill a support for free. It's a staple. It's one of those things. On the other Agitos, guess what? We play another Bimower cycle for the same reason. You pop your Bimower, you give it to Lysta, she can move around wherever she wants. A really strong card, and this is one of the few and in-between decks that actually play 2 of them, or should play 2 of them. In the middle, your Omar is using Phoenix Belt, because it wouldn't be Omar if he wasn't playing Phoenix Belt as well. Sacrifice Phoenix Belt, deal 10 damage to target creature. If equipped creature has fire, deal an additional 10. So it's 20 damage. Very solid, especially if they manage to get back here somehow and fight your Omar. Well, he can at least throw this, do 20, use his effect, do another 10. Use the other Omar, that's 40, So you don't really have to do much after that to kill your opponent. Your other Omar is also playing Phoenix Belt for the same reason. If you stack these, that's 40 damage. It's really good. If you had them both flipped up, you could do 40 and then do their effect. That's 60 damage, so just things add up. Fel4 is equipped with your Scopalon. This is a really good card. It helps you scope out your matchups, especially if you're unfamiliar with what you're seeing on the other side of the board. If you don't know what your opponent's playing, you could look at their front line. The one that would give you the most trouble, you look at what gear he has equipped. you happen to find that Zerium armor, you know, you can blow it up real quick. Really good. So we got Scopalon back here just to peep out what's going on. So basically, what you're trying to do is Lysta is always going to fight. Lysta has to fight because she's your only fighter in here. Agitos makes sure that that happens. So target creature gains if an adjacent creature can move into this space, it must do so. So you pop Agitos. If you don't go first, you pop Agitos effect. You target your Lysta. Now they have to fight Lysta. No ifs, ands, or buts. So basically, an average game is 3 combats. So Agitos will pop his effect on Lysta. That's 1 combat. Then the next time it's your opponent's turn, the second Agitos pops his ability. That's another combat. And on your turn, you have a combat. So if you won all 3 of your fights, you know, you typically won the game. So Agitos is just really good. It's to lock it down. It's to make sure that your Lysta always fights. If you happen to get something like Mapita Mirage, and you gain the Swift, and you go all the way to the back row, and then you put this on your Lysta, well, now they have to fight your Lysta that way too. So it's just a really good lockdown here, a really good way to choke your opponent out and just make them have to die into her, you know, like just they have to feed into her, and she's going to kill everything. She's doing on average at least plus 10 per attack, at least. The Omars, she's going to do an attack. The Omars are going to pop their ability real quick, add that extra 10 or 20 if you use both of them. So really solid. Moving on to locations, you got the Phlogiston. That's the Omar combo. Being a combat, all creatures gain fire. So including your Lysta, so that's pretty good. And you know how this goes. So Phlogiston activates, you pop your Omars, and then at the beginning of combat they gain fire again. You can pop your Omars again. So that's 40 damage without attacking. So that's really good. Underworld City, your creatures gain challenge power 15, deal 5 damage. So this is for Lysta. So basically she has outperform power 10. So this makes sure that every attack you play will gain that outperform power 10. So that's really strong. Your Poral Forest, so that your opponent can't defend. So no defender, that's really strong. That helps your Lysta just get in there and do what she needs to do. Your Prexor Chasms, so that your opponent can't heal. Of course, that's really strong. And the Mirage is really good too. If you happen to have a Phoenix Belt flipped up, and you put this Prexor Chasm on a support character, you could potentially snipe that back row support character, so that's really good. Or you can put it on a space where you need to fight and win, so that's also really good. You have your Mapita Mirage, which is a staple. I just talked about that. You flip this first combat, you basically won. And in this deck, it's really good because it's another Agitos. It just helps it. You put it on your Lysta, and it just helps lock the game down, and now they have to fly into her regardless. So, really solid. This is a gimmick deck. So the Refrain of Denial Overworld, we play 2 of those. Dispel target generic or overworld music. So this is really good because we're in a meta where Song of Stasis is really strong and is a staple at least 1. So Refrain of Denial can negate the Song of Stasis. That's really good. You can negate a Cadence Clash. You can also stop that Melody of Mirrored Actions, I think it is. Destroys battle gear. So that's really good. And you stop the Rhyme of the Reckless. And you can even stop their refrains that they're going to spend 2 on. So really good card. You have to play 2 because you have to make sure that Lysta attacks. You cannot let her get negated. You cannot let her get stasis. So very important card. We played 2 Cadence Cash. Again, this is, you have to protect the gimmick. You have to make sure that your Lysta attacks and that your cards that you need to go through don't get negated. So Cadence Clash is just like extra security on that. It makes sure that it happens and that you do attack and that you do get your gimmick. We got the Strain of Ash here. Of course, you combo that with the Scopalon. So you would look at their gear. You find that Zerium armor. Or you find that, or you just see that Bi-Mower, you can pop their Bi-Mower. If they have a Gall Wings, you can pop a Gall Wings. You know, just whatever the problem might be on their side that's going to hurt you, you can get rid of that for free. And we play 1 Howl of the Wind because you have to protect your gimmick. So Stormbird statue says if you have air, you have surprise. So basically, if they try to like strip your air, you can play your Howl the Wind and get your air back, and protects your gimmick, because you really need the air so that you can have surprise, because without it you're not going to win initiative, and then Lysta's just a regular fighter. She has to win initiative in order to get her effect. So Howl the Wind just makes sure that you protect that, and that Lysta is doing her job. Moving on to the attack deck here, we play 2 Marksman's Prep. Not only is it a solid card, but it also has air. So Lysta's effect will trigger, and she has air 10. So Marksman's Preparation will do 40. Really nice. Feels really good when you pop it off. We play a Sirocco in here, 5 air damage, and for air, flip a face down battle gear you control face up. So you'd flip your Phoenix belts up with this, really good, and it'll do 15 because of Lysta's ability. We play Prowl Strike, really strong card, 30 damage, and with Lysta, does 40. We got the Clash Jet. So you won't get the fire unless you got the Phlogiston location, but other than that, you'll do 5, that's 5, 10, 20, 30, so Clash Jet will still hit for 30 damage, so nothing to scoff at here. Your second Prowl Strike. We play Flash Warp, so that'll do 20. Play Hammer Dash. This will do 15, 35. We got Ectospasm, that will do 15. Lightning Burst will do 20, and they'll lose 25 power. That's really good. Flash Warp will do 20. Voltorch does a lot. It will do 20, 30, 40 damage for Voltorch. That's really strong. Ectospasm does 15. There's your Marksman's Prep. Another Lightning Burst. Your Hammer Dash. So as you can see, you're hitting really hard here. You're doing an average of like 30 damage per attack. So if you do 30 and you pop double Omars, they're almost dead. This is really strong. And if you have the Phoenix Belt up, they're dead. You can pop your Phoenix Belt, finish them off in one hit. I mean, it's like having Strike without having Strike. There's your second Sirocco because it has really good synergies in here. Your second Voltorch, and your Dry Liquid. So this deck is really good. It's actually one of my favorites right now to play. You know, I wish I owned this deck because I didn't think it was going to be this good. You know, at first it just started as like a theory, you know, and then my buddy put it together and we were like, oh wow, this has potential. And you know, from there we refined it and made it like meta friendly, and it's really good. It's a strong A. It's definitely A tier. It's fought against decks that it should have lost against and won. It's nothing to scoff at. The Felfor here, he's super strong. Just being able to manipulate and move a creature around is crazy. There's so many times, because this is like chess. You know, especially in the middle of the game, you know, your opponent can start running from you. He can start moving his creatures away from you, you know, and lock you out. And the Felfor just pushes them right back into range. I mean, he's mean. He pushes them into range, out of range. It's really good. And then you have a built-in Swift 1 with Stormbird statues. So that's nothing to scoff at. That's 2 movements. And then you got double Bimower in here, so you can get wherever you need to get on the board. This deck is really strong. I've had one Agitos effect negated in the game and only got the one and still won. Like, this deck is really good. It can still pull off what it needs to do. You play Tomb of Pit Mirage. This card is the GOAT. If a creature can move into this space, it must do so. You just Mirage this on your Lysta. You force them to feed into her. I mean, it is so mean. Lysta is doing on average plus 20 in attack. I mean, you saw that attack deck. It's 4 2 builds and the rest are 1s and a couple 0s. And you're doing like 40 damage a hit. It's mean. This deck is mean. Not to mention on your turn, you have Intimidate, Courage, and Power 40 because you play 2 Agitos, so they stack. So she's going to win all her challenges, even if it's a mirror match. You're going to win all your challenges. You are the one doing your power challenges here. Underworld City makes all your attacks power based so that you get the outperform power 10 from Lysta. So this is really strong. This deck is really strong. There's lots of synergies here. The Pole Forest keeps your opponent from defending against your Lysta. You can just pick your opponent apart. You fly in the back row, and then on their turn, you activate Agitos ability. Target creature has to attack Lysta. There you go. So you flew in the back, and now their supports have to fight Lysta. I mean, it's crazy. On your turn, you pop the Strain of Ash and destroy their Biomower, so they can't even retaliate that way. And then you activate Agitos, and they're all just feeding into her. You know, it's a gimmick deck, but this is really strong. I mean, it works. It works. It's crazy. Refrain of Denial is really strong. The Underworld version that says Overworld. Sorry, it's gonna confuse me all day. This is a really strong card. At first I thought like, oh, whatever, you know, generic and Overworld. Like the Overworld part's good, you know, but then like there are some generics here that this really messes up. So that's really good. There's a couple little sleeper cards that this is really good against. You can stop your opponent from doing the 2-cost gear kill. You can stop your opponent from like my multi-tribe deck, Psionic Serenade. You can stop that. You can stop Nourishing Nocturne. I mean, it has some good utility here, but it stops what's important, and that's stasis. The double cadence clash, because one is annoying enough. You play 2 in here. That's really good. It protects your Lysta. It stops your opponent's little nuances, and you can punish them for playing expensive 2-cost music, so that's really good. And again, the Strain of Ash, you know, so much versatility here. You can get rid of Zerum Armor. You can get rid of their Biomower on your turn, you know, because obviously they'll do it on their turn. And the Howl of the Wind, so that, you know, you can always make sure you have air. The air 5 is not important because you already have air 10. But again, it's just the synergy with the Storm of Statues. You need surprise. You have to have surprise. So that's why the Howl of Wind is here, just in case you lost your air somehow. So yeah, this is the deck, guys. This is super fun to play. And it's amazing that it's actually competitive. We've tested it and played it against, you know, our stronger decks. This is a competitive deck. Gimmick deck or not, the LYSTAR deck is a competitive deck. This is really good. So many natural synergies in here that work. You're playing the double Sirocco's. You flip your Phoenix Belts up. The Scope along with the Strain of Ash play. Double Cadence Clash with double Refrain. This is a really good deck. Your Agitoses lock it down for Lysta. Your Mepida Mirages lock it down for Lysta. You know, I know I'm repeating things, but it's just so you can see the synergies, and like this deck really works well. So yeah, this is the deck. So you guys can see here, it's a very fast deck. It almost feels like you're playing Strike. The Felfor back here, don't sleep on him. He's super broken. I'm telling you, that movement is everything. Just pushing them out, pushing them in, pushing that support that they moved away from you back into position so you can kill it. I mean, you can even push them out. You can even push their fighter out of range so he can't retaliate. Like, this is mean. You can push their fighter out of the way so that he can't retaliate, and then you pop Agitos effect, and now the only creature within range would be like a support, and the support has to kill itself into Lysta. Like, this is really good. Like, I'm telling you guys, there are things you can do with this deck. So yeah, really fun, really strong attack deck. And the attack deck is not that expensive. It's very easy to get, very easy to build. You know, it's mostly commons, a couple rares. I mean, very strong. So alright guys, so here's another one from me to you. Hope you guys really enjoy this deck, and I'll see you guys next time.